commerce section, right? In the commerce.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you must be aware that your paper. So in which areas basically you are having the trouble in? Is it the credit side or the finance side or whichever it is?
No, actually, basically, I'm interested in the whole commerce book, all these chapters and subject.
Okay, okay.
I'm studying some of the chapters, but yes, there are some complicated things as well. So yes, that's why I want to study all chapters.
Okay. So today I will be talking about the customer credit. So let's see. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what do you mean by credit? Okay, there are two types of transactions, right? When we talk about transactions, any transaction, so the basic thing that we have an idea is like one is a cash transaction, the other is a credit transaction. Okay, in cash, what is happening? We are paying the money, like we are taking something and we are paying as it is. For example, you go to a shop, right? Any shop. For example, you went for shopping, right? If you went for shopping, you have the cash with you paid the cash, and you take the good or any service, right? Goods or any service, and then you utilize that service for that. For example, why I have mentioned service as well, because it's not all about goods, huh? For example, services, you pay for services in different parts, right? For transportation, it's a service, right? Is it clear up till now? That you went over there, you
Yes,
bought something and you paid the cash, right? This is a cash transaction. What is happening at this moment? There are two things are happening, right? You're getting a possession of something. For example, if you bought the clothes, right? Okay, clothes. For example, a pair of jeans. So what is happening? You're getting a pair of jeans. Now you are in possession of it. You're the owner of it or the possession of it. And what you have done that your cash is being given to the seller. So the seller is getting what? Seller is getting the cash, and the consumer, you are the consumer or the buyer is getting the good. Okay. So that is the thing that is happening at that moment. Now what will happen if it's a credit transaction? Yes. If it is a credit transaction, what is happening in terms of credit? Credit is basically what? An arrangement by which a buyer, for example, you're the buyer, you're taking a possession of something right now, but you will pay for it later. Right? How it happens? For example, I am a shopkeeper, right? And if you have any idea about how this whole mechanism works, for example, in Pakistan, they have like these stores, big stores like Imtiaz and etc. Right? Marts or what we call them, Metro, these big stores. These are the big retail outlets. So what they do basically, they are selling different goods. Now, for example, if I am a new shopkeeper in the market, okay, I opened a new shop. What's your name? Saad, right?
yes,
So, for example, Saad has opened a new shop in the market, in your place or in your vicinity. Now, what is happening? Some retailers, some suppliers would come to your place. Okay, for example, sell my products. Uh, which chocolate do you like the most, for example?
let it be Kit Kat.
Okay, Kit Kat, of course. So they came, and for example, the suppliers of Kit Kat came to your shop and they said that okay, we are the suppliers, this and that, and this is the margin and etc. So keep our product so that it will be sold and we will be taking the revenue. So as a new shopkeeper, what you will be do? You will be a bit cautious. You will say, no, not at this moment. Wait. I won't be paying cash. For example, if I bought, for example, they say keep the 30 items with you and pay for the 30 boxes, for example, 30 boxes. And just let's assume that one box costs like $10, 15, $20. Okay. So what will be the total payment that you have to pay? Total payment, what would be the total payment?
600.
600. Yes, excellent. So $600 you would be paying. So you said, no, no, I am a new shopkeeper. How can I pay $6,000, $600 at front? And what will happen if it remains unsold at the end of the month? If it remains unsold, then what will happen? No, I can't risk it. So what they say, okay. The suppliers, what they would say, okay, let's keep, they would say something. Keep the 30 boxes with you on credit, and when they are sold, now there are two things that would happen on the agreement, and this is a very important part. There should be some agreement as well, whether it's an agreement that is on paper, verbal, written, whichever it is. You would say, for example, if it remains unsold at the end of the month, so they would be giving you a time period. Okay, if it remains unsold at the end of some period, like at the end of the month or something, right, we would take them back, and you would only pay for those items which you have sold. So you would say, okay, now this is something that I want to do. But again, you would say, for example, because you are a newcomer in the market, no? So there would be something that you don't have, that is the experience. And why it's necessary? Because you are unsure that whether how much sales would be done. That is a key crux, that you are unsure about it. So you would say, okay, let's keep 30 boxes for the first month. And you say suppliers are offering a good condition. If it is sold, sold. If it is not sold, not sold. We will take it back. Okay. Now what will happen is that at the end of the month, for example, only 15 boxes were sold. Right? 15 boxes were sold. Sorry about this. So you told him that I would pay for 15 boxes, $20. So I would be paying only $300, and you take the rest back. Okay. This is how the whole mechanism starts. Now what is happening? It would have been very much difficult for a person to give $300 and $600 at the beginning, because you were unsure. So they started off with a credit transaction. Okay, let's start it off. What is the benefit that you are getting? You are in possession. You are in possession of something now that you will pay for it later. Okay, so you are getting a possession. What is credit then? A credit transaction is one that you are getting a possession. A buyer is taking possession of something now. The time there is important, which the person will pay it later, right? In the later time or over the period. Now, what is this over the period thing? Over the period means, for example, simple. You went to a shop, you had a credit transaction with a credit card. Have you ever done one?
No, not yet.
Okay, okay. So you paid it with a credit card, right? Now you had the
Yes.
money in the account, right? For example, you had $200 in the account, and it's like, what would we call? Okay, you had $200 in the account today, and you would be getting a salary. For example, $100 would be deposited later on. So you made a transaction of like $400 from the credit card. So you got the good. whatever it is, good or a service. You paid for it, but who is paying for it? You didn't pay for it, the bank did. Right? So now there are three transactions going on. There are three parties in this basically. One is the buyer, the other is the bank or the lender, and the third is the seller. Buyer got the good or the service, the bank paid for it, but still the bank, you owe money to the bank, so now you have to pay to the bank, right? This definition is important because it says at a later time or over the period. Why over the period? For example, you say now my salary is $100 and I have taken a transaction of $400. So you paid $200 from your bank. So what is happening at bank? Bank has given you $400, right? For example, you are X. Now what is happening? $200 have been deducted from your account. So I am subtracting this. You're left with $200. $200 are left. Now the bank says, I will take this $200. So you said that I cannot pay this, or you have an agreement with the bank or whichever. It should be given, I would be giving this in, for example, 5 transactions. Oh, sorry, 5 installments. You agreed to this. 5 installments. So what would be the installment amount? You said that, okay, if I would have paid $200, so divide by 5, what would I be getting?
You'll get 40.
$40, right? So this is what you had in your mind. But the bank said, no, first things first. I paid for you at the upfront. This terminology is important. At the upfront, right? I gave you a loan, small loan, short-term loan. So I won't be taking all these for $200. I would be charging you $250. You said why? Why? This is the amount of the credit. This is the cost of taking a credit from the bank. So this is the cost you will pay to the bank. So you are not just taking a loan, you are also paying an interest on each of the transactions. So the bank said that now you would not be paying me $200, you would be paying me $250 over the 5 installments. You started saying, why is that? They said that because of the time, inflation, time value of money, right? There is constant change in time, inflation, and each of the other factors. And of the service
So
that we are providing you, we have provided you instant cash at that time. So now the bank said, what will happen? You will pay us $250. You came over here, 250 divided by 5. Now you are paying $50 per transaction, right? What is the extra amount of interest?
50.
No, what is the interest amount? Coming back to this, let's have a look. So you said that this is $50 value of each installment. Okay. And actually without interest, the value would have been $40 per installment. So at each installment, you are paying the bank $10 extra as a cost of taking a credit. And overall, in the total 5 installments, you are paying bank extra $50. This is per installment. This is total. Now, why credit card is so much common? If you look at the syllabus as well, it says that why it is so prevalent. Why it is? Because if you have studied little bit or if you have heard of it, 2007, the global crisis. The 2007 global crisis is a monument that why it shouldn't be that much credit, because everything was on credit. There were a lot of mortgages in the US. Of course, the houses has been bought on the mortgage and each and everything. So the mortgages has been taking and each and everything was on credit. So what happened is that there was a crunch, and a credit crunch happened, and it led to a global crisis throughout a recessionary crisis. We will be looking at these terminologies later on. But why credit is so important? Why? Because why it is? First of all, you get what? Competitive edge. As a new person who have just entered the market, you wouldn't be able to have or spend like $600 item on your shelves. You wouldn't have done it if you had paid it on cash, would you? Could you have
No.
done it? No, na. Why is that? Because you have okay, just keep it, keep the item over here. You also ask the other one, okay, you want thing on credit, okay, just keep it. So the first thing is it to gain competitive advantage. Now you are in the market. Okay. Next thing, to get additional money. Doing this transaction, if I am on shopping, if for example I went to Dubai or something else in the Middle East, so I am on shopping, right? I paid from my credit card. I didn't have that much money in my account. So I would have missed that item and I wouldn't have got it. But due to the extra credit that I am getting, I am able to buy it right now. And the desire and the utility that I have. In the initial chapters, we have discussed this, we would be discussing this about the utility concept. Okay. Next thing. For example, it promotes consumerism. Na? First thing. What do I mean by consumerism? Like buying of things, right? Buying and selling. It promotes that consumerism, capitalism, right? You go over there, you buy. For example, in US, if you have look at the credit history, most of the things that you will say that most of the people are buying on credit, they are under huge debt. But they are promoting what? They are promoting capitalism. They are constantly buying new items. Next. Okay. And it helps to save the product when the product is on decline. And how can that be? When the product is on decline, they would say, okay, just keep the product. Similar example, you were told that keep 30 boxes. They say, no, keep 60 boxes. You would say, why? Why should I be keeping 60 boxes? The demand is only 15 boxes. Why should I be keeping? Because the product is on the decline. They want to sell it further. Just keep it. Just keep it. And just sell it on so that it's on the market, right? What they are doing, they are not showcasing the true sales. The true sales or the real value of sales is 15 boxes. But if a supplier has said, okay, just keep the 60 boxes, he is showing to his company that he has sold around 60 boxes. So his commission is jumping up, right? That's why now what the companies have done, they have said that, okay, we would be giving you commission on real sales, not on the artificially inflated. This is a terminology that you might be have heard of it. Artificially inflated figures, and this is a terminology when you will use in the exam, this will really help you out. So now we have discussed these things, that why credit should be given or why credit is so much popular. And the other thing, the points that I've mentioned are here. But the next thing that we would be discussing is what are the different methods that are discussed in the agreement. So I would be ending this session over here. Hope you understood.